Greetings everybody, I'm Dr. Peck, your professor for this course, and with this little introductory video I want to cover a few items that will get you launched hopefully very successfully with this semester in this course on cultural diversity. A couple of things I want to do in terms of basic outline. I want to give you some commentary on the structure of the course and how it will unfold, and then I want to give you what I call a scaffold. Kind of an overview, if you will, of things that you'll encounter in the week's activity that is coming up or is just immediately right around the corner. So let me start by going over the course and its structure. Some of these items will be things you've encountered in that greeting document, which I hope you already have read, but some of them will be further elaborations of things that you've found there. First of all, as with all courses, I want to emphasize the importance of the syllabus. The syllabus is considered to be the contract between a faculty member and the students and vice versa. So by staying in the course, you agree to the contents of that syllabus and how we're going to be unfolding. The basic structure of our course will pretty much be always the same. We'll follow a weekly structure in which there will be a reading assignment from our textbook, which is called On Being Different by Kotak and Kositis. And pretty much a week by week, chapter by chapter unfolding of the content from front to back in that course. And then based upon your reading, you will have a written essay assignment to demonstrate your understanding of that material and your reflection and your insights as regards topical subject areas that will be presented to you for the essays. And you will have a choice among at least two, sometimes more than two of them. I want to emphasize the importance of doing those essay assignments very thoroughly and very properly. You'll need to be sensitive to the need for proper spelling and proper grammar, excuse me, boy, I can't pronounce my words here, proper grammar, and proper structure for an essay type piece of work. We do not have a term paper assignment in this course. I'm breaking with my traditional pattern on that front, and I'm going to be relying instead on those weekly essays sort of all rolled together. So they should be thorough, they should be complete, and they should be very well presented, and I'll speak more on this in just a few moments. We will be having a series of tests equally spaced throughout the term, about every 3 weeks. I'll be dropping the lowest scoring of those for the purposes of the final grade determination. You will have one of these weekly essay assignments each week, and I'll be dropping the lowest 3 of those. So this will make allowances for needs to otherwise take up makeup exams and so forth. So you won't have to be doing that. The other thing I want to mention specifically is as you look at the lessons folder, you will see one called Supporting Materials. I've included 3 documents there that you should read right away. They're very helpful, I hope, for you in terms of being successful, not only in this course, but actually in other courses you'll take as well. One of them speaks to the matter of proper writing and the writing standards for this course. In that document, I have outlined the vast majority of the kinds of things I see undergraduate students doing in terms of errors in their writing, and I've kind of cued you into what those are there. So you should be using that as a checklist to make sure you're not making those kinds of mistakes if in fact writing is not your forte. So do a good job, use that as a help aid. There's also a document which deals with thoughts that I have kind of put together over the years based on my own experience of the kinds of things you might do to be a good student and to achieve the highest grade possible in your courses. Not only this one, but in the other ones as well. And then finally, that third document recognizes that some of you may not have had an introductory course in sociology. This particular course is offered as a sociology course, and most institutions of higher education do require an introduction to sociology course as a prerequisite to this course. Here at this college we do not. So for those of you who have not had that experience, I've written a document called Quick and Dirty Highlights of Sociology that will give you all the background that you would need to do very, very well from a sociological point of view with this course. Those of you who have had such a course, but for one reason or another would appreciate a refresher on the content, feel free to take a look at that as well, and I think that'll do a fair job for you in that respect as well. There's also a discussion folder there called Questions, Answers, and Problems presented by the class. Any kinds of general questions or issues you might have, post them in that discussion forum, and if you have an opportunity to respond or answer a query or a question that has been posed by a fellow classmate, please go ahead and respond to whatever might be out there and help each other out in that respect. I'll be monitoring that discussion forum from time to time myself, and you may see comments cropping up there from me. And then finally, if you're watching this video, you already have encountered the folder that I'm calling a guide on the side. And the intent is for me to do what I'm doing right here, and that is to offer you periodically some video feedback on what's going on at the course, how you're doing, so forth. So this will hopefully tend to kind of personalize the course a little bit more than it would have otherwise been in the absence of such a video. If you were taking a course on ground, you would of course be having a professor right there in the classroom with you, with whom you could speak, to whom you could pose questions. And this little video is intended to kind of get around that a little bit for you. So enough said about the structure of the course. Let me give you a very brief overview of what you'll be encountering in the first two chapters of your reading. As any good academic would, given the title of the book that he or she has written, it will start off with some definitions and kind of scope out the domain for you, if you will, restrict the topical area. And you in particular here will learn a lot about details of culture. Again, if you've had an introductory sociology course or a beginning course in anthropology, you will have had such an introduction already. But this chapter will go into the characteristics of culture, what's involved with culture, and it's going to borrow very heavily upon the sociological tradition as well as the anthropological one. Then we'll be going on and kind of getting into the beginnings of the substantive content of this course, which of course will deal with various aspects of cultural diversity. Now, cultural diversity is one of those topics which not only has an academic underpinning, but also a kind of a meaning as you encounter it in everyday life. And I think you'll find that there are many, many more dimensions to cultural diversity that we will be exploring in this course than what it is typically thought of as being when we just talk about it in everyday language. In particular, you will be talking about variations in ethnicity, religious variation, of course race will be considered from several different points of view, gender, sexual orientation, age as a factor in diversity. Bodies, believe it or not, our physical bodies, especially from the point of view of diversity, from the point of view of the disabled population. Class, of course, social class, and then here's one that probably wouldn't come to the mind of most people when they think about cultural diversity. There's a lot of diversity deriving from where you live, whether you're a person who is in a rural area or in an urban area, for example. There's also a lot of diversity having to do with the language structures that we use, both within English and across different languages that are characteristics of some areas. For example, there's a lot of Spanish spoken out here in the American Southwest where I live and the area from which I'm speaking. And then finally, a lot of diversity, cultural diversity, will derive from differing types of family. And if any of you have had a family course, you already know that the definition of what constitutes a family is not at all clear-cut these days. Much different than the one that you would have encountered if you'd taken the course, let's say 50 or certainly 60 years ago. So those are some of the kinds of topics that we're going to be encountering. We'll be doing those pretty much on a week-by-week kind of a basis, and you'll be seeing opportunities to develop essays which speak to various aspects of those topics, and hopefully will challenge you in one way or another. Well, that's about it for right now. So with that as a background and overview, I'm going to sign off until the next time. Again, welcome to my class, and I look forward to working with you this term. Bye-bye.